Hi, this is Donovan. This is Maggie.
Hello.
This is No Filter coming back at you. We're gonna do another live phone call with a lifelong friend of mine named Josh, who is a working class American, and he's actually really intelligent. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would be shocked, like, of his level of intelligence. Maybe not in certain aspects of life, because of course he was my friend growing up. But anyhow, we're gonna like just kind of roll with the topic of COVID. We're gonna roll with the topic of American and its economy, but like his opinion really weighs. You know what I mean? And just like everyone who has had an opinion throughout this process, we value all of them. So bear with us, and let's say hi to Josh. Give him. Let's ring him right now, honey. Okay.
Bear with us.
All right. Here we go. He's not answering yet.
Yeah,
Hey, is this Josh?
this is Josh and
Hey, Josh. What's up? This is Donovan from No Filter. Lifelong friend of yours. This is Maggie, by the way. Say hey, Maggie.
Nice to meet you. Hello.
All right.
Maggie. How you doing?
All right.
Josh, if you could tell our followers a little bit about you and what you do for a living, stuff like that, to kind of confirm what I had said prior to you answering the phone.
Okay. Well, I'm Joshua Gunn, and I've been a friend of Donovan's for well over 20 years. As far as what I do for a living, primarily I'm a painter, but I also do things like pool cages, lanai, screened-in porches, aluminum work, stuff like that.
So you consider yourself nothing but a skilled tradesman?
Correct.
Okay, so working class American, which is great because like a lot of us and you guys out there are actually skilled tradesmen, much like me and Josh. Maggie, like as a skilled trade, if you were to choose one, what would it be on your behalf? Like, what are you good at when it comes like building houses or anything of that sort, fixing or?
I don't think you.
Well, I can do.
No, I'm talking to Maggie. Just a second, Josh.
I'm sorry.
That's
all right.
okay. I don't think you could put that into one category, could you?
Well, like you don't feel like you're like mastering any one thing.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay,
yet.
Josh. As a painter, like, I mean, are you in union work or are you like subcontracting at this point?
Yeah, that would be considered a subcontractor. I've never ever gone to the union for work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I beg to differ. I've once worked for them. Anyhow, Josh, we're gonna pick this topic today that it seems to be like a popular demand. Okay, but everybody knows out there that we are no filters, so don't be afraid to say whatever. And I'm sure you already knew that.
Yeah.
So, and you know me, I'm a non-filter kind of guy. Tell me your view on it could be opinion. You could believe it's a fact, but tell me your opinion as a whole on COVID, and let's see if we can strike a discussion here.
Well, that's actually kind of a tough question because my opinion as a whole is not based on a whole lot of personal experience, which also plays into why I have the opinion I have.
Okay. Well, let me know. I want to hear this opinion.
I mean, quite frankly, I believe that a lot of things are being called COVID that are not COVID. I believe that the government testing pushed the threshold of the testing so that they'd have more positives. And I personally have never met anyone with COVID. So
see, it's funny you say that because I'm in the same boat.
Well, I on the other hand am not.
And then that's what I mean. Like, I hear a lot of people that say they have an aunt or an uncle or a cousin that either passed or came down with COVID. So I'm not calling those people a liar by any means, but I don't know if it's really COVID that's killing these people or if it's something else they're calling COVID, or you know what I mean. It's a tough thing for me to have a firm opinion on because, like I said, I've never witnessed it firsthand.
See,
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm part of that. Unfortunately, I do know people that have came down with COVID. Well, of course, that's what they were tested positive for was COVID. But on the other hand, thank God, they bounced back and they're still here. Have I known anyone pass away from COVID? No, not personally. So I understand where you're coming from. I get your viewpoint on that.
See, now I have a nephew that says he's had COVID and was diagnosed that way. But he came through it like a shining star. He just basically told me that it just felt like he had a really, really, really bad flu. You know? But he didn't like suffer like in the vast quantity that they say that COVID.
I have to agree with you on. I believe a lot of deaths and a lot of illnesses are being blamed as COVID. So I kind of agree with you on that. Do I believe COVID's real? Yeah, I do. But at the same token, it's hard to believe something if you don't see it firsthand. I get that.
I think it's real, but why has the cases of severe colds and flus dropped off dramatically and COVID increases like that?
Yeah.
I
agree.
As well.
That's amazing you say that, bro, because I just like totally said that the other day. It's like COVID cases go up, all of a sudden you don't hear anything more about the flu or the cold, and it seems like COVID was the cure for all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that doesn't sound that bad, you know? But no, it is.
Right.
And God bless anybody out there that does have the COVID.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It got speed with that. But at the same time, I believe there's a lot of propaganda attached to it.
I do believe, like I said, I'll say it again, I do believe it's real. So obviously, there are people dying for something, whether it's COVID or they've been mismarked as COVID. Something's wrong. Something is really wrong.
Do you believe that politics plays a big part in this, Josh?
I was about to get into that. I absolutely do, because every election year something happens. And also 1920, 1820, 1720, all these years had pandemics.
Okay. Well,
so what about the 20th of each century? I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a repeating pattern.
So, like, do you think that like anyone is to blame? Do you feel like it's a economic standpoint for somebody significant out there?
Well, I guess what I'm alluding to is, I don't know who or what entity could actually manufacture or manifest a pandemic on the 20th year of each century.
See, that's interesting. We haven't heard that yet.
Right. My question is, are you falling into the conspiracy theory or not?
And feel free to say how you want to say, Josh.
Oh yeah.
There's no judgment here.
I wouldn't say I'm falling into either. I'm intelligent enough to know that I don't know enough to have a firm opinion.
I agree.
See, dude, that's like what we were saying the other day. Was like we all have this like firm opinions of everything.
We all do.
But nobody knows shit.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Like in the fucking dark over here on a level that
maybe we're searching. I don't know.
Yeah, but like.
Absolutely. Everything I say is speculative. It's,
And that's the same thing with us.
Yeah.
We consistently say on our podcast that we are so not professional.
No, not at all.
Okay. Maybe not even at podcasting. Who the fuck knows at this point? But what we're trying to get is like, this is obviously an issue worldwide right now that like, it's astounding that people have all of these opinions, and it is just weird that none of them could be right. Like, how can everybody be wrong?
Yeah.
Well, everybody can be wrong and right at the same time, actually.
I can believe that.
A multitude of theories. given a multitude of theories, there can be a piece of each theory that makes sense and is actually contributing to the actual COVID crisis, but it doesn't mean their whole theory is correct.
No, I
So
can
you-
totally agree with that. What do you think?
I do agree. Now on the political side,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna bring up the
This
political
actually is
side.
where it gets a little funny there, Josh. So just
Uh-huh.
bear with us.
I can state my opinion, but I would like to hear yours. Do you believe that Trump downplayed this pandemic?
Or do you believe that he did his best? Or let's go with that. It's going to get a little crazy because every time you get in politics with anybody.
That's a tough one because a lot of people say he downplayed it. But in Trump downplaying something, that actually raises awareness on it because he's actually taking a stance on something. So his downplaying it could actually be meant to bring more attention to it. So, again, that's a tough question. I mean, Trump is a matchbox to begin with.
Amen.
You put anything that comes out of that man's mouth, it's going to gain national attention.
And it'll catch fire like that, bro.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do agree.
So, I mean, I don't think him downplaying it or upplaying it would have had a different effect. I think the fact is that he got a chance to speak on it, and that shed the limelight on it so much more.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of get that. Like he's
I understand.
more of a hype man or a promoter than he is a president.
I don't know about that.
No, like
basically.
You know, like a music
for a long
promoter.
time,
whatever he touches turns to gold.
Yeah, and for a long time, I believe that the president is just a puppet like anybody else. So
I believe that. I think a lot of people have that same view, and I think, some days I do believe that. But at the same token,
I mean, everybody's got a boss.
Yeah, our president, I think, just my opinion here, should have alerted us a whole lot sooner. Because, I mean, what was it, February, March? I'm guessing here it's been so long. Whenever we did get alerted to this COVID-19 situation, and we all had to start wearing masks, and wasn't it China that already knew months ahead of time?
Yeah. China was already locked down.
What about, okay, but if we were to take the next step, what is the opinion of the three that is speaking here on Whitmer allowing the kids to go back to school on what, the second or first?
I'll let him give his opinion first, if you don't mind.
I guess on
I think that the more you limit the body's exposure to any virus or disease, the more it's going to affect the human body.
I believe that too in a way. Yeah, you're right.
And I was curious because I do agree. I believe the children should be back in school. I don't think this is doing them any good.
To build immunity.
It's not doing the parents any good.
Holy shit, it's driving me crazy.
That's crazy.
It's contributing to the collapse of the economy is what it's doing.
Absolutely. And I mean, I obviously don't have any little children. My children are grown. I do have a granddaughter. And you can see the difference in the kids. Their attention span isn't anything.
Oh my God. It's like,
yeah.
There's a world of difference between a parent teaching you and a teacher teaching you.
Absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, did you notice, like, when we go to Kroger, maybe you too, Josh, but like Kroger, any grocery store, even like Walmart, kids are acting fucking assholes in there, man. Like, dude.
Well, that's just Walmart, though. I mean,
they have nowhere to release their energy.
Yeah, dude. There was little girl. Well, there was a little girl in Kroger yesterday, and I'm looking at Maggie and I'm going, watch this little girl. Like, I could just see her rearing up for something, right? And I was like, watch this little girl. She could have been better than 2 or 3 years old. She broke wide from her mom, run right up on a dude she didn't even know and smacked him.
Yeah. But you have
and then laughed at him, and her mom snatched her up. But, like, at the same time, you remember when we all three was kids?
Yeah.
You do some dumb shit like that, man, you about to get your fanny whomped up right in the middle of Kroger.
But you also remember when kids used to come home from school, they were dead tired. They wanted to go lay down and watch TV. That's not the case.
Scooby-Dooby and shit. Yeah, I remember.
I bet parents have a whole bit more appreciation for teachers now.
I would say at the very least, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. I actually homeschooled my girls for a while, and it is very hard and frustrating. It doesn't matter if you know the material, or if you're good at math or science or English or
If you don't know how to
grammar.
teach it to them, you'll never get it.
I can't
Not only
imagine.
that, and every child learns in a different way, whether visually, auditory, or a mix of both of them. So in order for the parents to figure that out, they have to be paying closer attention and not just spouting off things that they know about that subject. Teachers have been trained to approach things in a multitude of different ways to reach each child.
I believe that.
Parents only know what works when they discipline their children. Therefore, the school becomes incorporated within their home discipline.
Yeah, who are we blaming now? The parents? Hello.
If children are falling behind and their parents are overseeing their education, then the parents would need to blame them.
I so hardly agree. Oh, I agree. Totally agree. But I do believe the kids need to be back in school. For sure.
Yeah, but there's always going to be kids that will fall behind or not be as successful as others as well. So, there's a certain amount of blame on the children, or the parental unit that's teaching.
I agree.
But, I gotta say, Josh, it's been a lot of years, man, since you and I have had an ample opportunity to just chill. Like, we chilled not too long ago, sure, but I mean, like, on a level that would say like we were when we were younger, of course. But we've never lost track of, like, let's say, the ability to know one another. Like, you can still kind of know me, and I still know you pretty good. And we did a lot of talking and stuff. And the one topic, this is what's up, that I know that you are best at, okay, of all the people I know, except for maybe my dad. Let's talk about the legalization of marijuana.
Oh, let's.
Yeah, see, now I struck this guy here. I do believe is a connoisseur.
I used to be, not so much anymore.
Okay, well, tell me about that, dude. Where it stands right now, and I'm going to speak on this for you for a second.
Sure.
Marijuana is, what is it, in recreational use in Michigan, but not at all supported by the feds. Am I right on this?
That is correct.
Okay. And not that you don't have to answer this question. It is your personal business. But are you a smoker that's willing to talk about it?
I actually don't smoke anymore, but I'll talk about it.
I thought you did, dude. Wow. Hey.
No, throughout my life, I've smoked continuously, but these last, I'm going to say 3-4 months, I haven't smoked at all. So.
Wow, dude. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing. Can you tell me why you quit? Maybe that's a.
Well, I was having some personal issues in my life, and I was drinking too much. I had some things happen in my life that affected me greatly.
I'm sure I know what you're speaking on, Josh. And if that's a touchy situation, we don't have a problem in the world not going there.
I mean, it is what it is. But after my fiance had passed, it between the drinking and the weed and some other things, it wasn't allowing me to heal in any sort of way. Amen. So I eventually came to terms with I had to put that stuff down and kind of start to look inward in order to move forward.
So sorry for your loss.
You know what, Josh? I mean, I'm sorry for your loss. We've had plenty of time to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I want to let you know that was like a really smooth thing to say right there. Most people would draw even more into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was the problem I did for a minute. I got into the dark side of it and the despair of it and the depression of it, and it wasn't taking me anywhere but down and losing even more than I'd already lost.
That's where I was going with that, Josh, is the fact that you had recognized your shit, man.
Well, it wasn't easy. I mean, it literally took me losing pretty much everything but the clothes on my back. I had lost my place to stay. I had lost the respect of people I loved. I had people turn their back on me. I'd lost my children. Obviously, I lost my fiance. I pretty much lost everything. And at some point, if you don't put on the brakes, you're just going to die. And I was at death's doorstep. So
Do you remember?
it was.
I do believe me and you had that conversation, and there was a point where we had hung up the phone, and I remember saying to you along the lines of, "Josh, don't die, dude."
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
weren't
Like,
the only one. I mean, everybody who knew me was scared I was going to die any day.
and look at you, man.
So,
You're still breathing, and you know it's funny that we're on this. It's not funny, but I mean it's relevant to a conversation and interview that I had done just 4 days ago, with a guy that was in the same exact boat as you are saying you were, and he just come home. He did a rehabilitation center actually, and he came home, huh?
yeah, I did as well. It was more of a short-term dry-out thing, not a rehab. But anyways.
Okay, well, still though, I mean, it's a step in the direction that it's probably best that you take, man. You know, and
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
it worked
absolutely.
for today, then today is really all that matters because I mean, tomorrow's never been a promise to anyone. You know what I'm saying? And
I've never heard anything more true than that. Tomorrow is not promised.
no, it isn't. And I guess nobody would know that better than you at this point. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that know it, but yeah.
Well, tell us about your success. Sex.
Um, well, I have successfully quit drinking, smoking weed. Um, there was other drugs I was dabbling in that I have quit. But then again, there's some other things that I have done. So, you know, it's it's definitely a tough thing. When you get gripped by addiction, it doesn't let go. So.
No, it don't. It's always at the back door, ain't it?
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
like,
something you fight with every day.
you know, I remember when I had done the rehabilitation for alcohol. Um, I had heard a guy look at me and say, "You think that you are in recovery and that you are rehabilitating now?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." He goes, "You're dead ass wrong." Because he's like, your recovery and your rehabilitation really doesn't start until you hit that door on the way out. And let me promise you this, your alcoholism is sitting in the parking lot right this fucking moment doing push-ups waiting on your ass. It's only getting stronger.
Yep.
You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
Do you remember? I think you and I had that conversation once, and I was just like, when that guy said that, he just like rocked my shit. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa. He's like, you can learn all you want to learn right now, but if you don't use it when that door opens, then what the fuck are you even doing here?
You can have all the head knowledge you want. You can know everything about addiction, the neuroscience of addiction, why your nerve synapses only reuptake certain chemicals. You can learn all about that, and it
Right.
won't stop you from using. You have to have a very strong will and desire to not use because of what you've been through or lost because of it.
Yeah, learn to
In order
cope
to
without
have any kind
medicating.
of success. Yeah, to have any kind of success. And that was one of the first things I did is I tried to get on a bunch of psych meds to keep me level and to keep me calm and to help me be sober.
Okay.
Well, it may have achieved that to a degree, but it made me too monotone, if you will. Like it made me too. There wasn't an up and down. There was just kind of.
Did it make you zombie-like?
I hate to say zombie-like because I wasn't just like,
But that realm, I think within
just
that
foggy,
realm,
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get, when something good happens, you get this profound joy from it, and you experience that emotionally, not only mentally but emotionally, and you feel the up of it. There's chemicals released in your body that make you happier, and you feel that. Or if something traumatic happens, you feel the depth of the sadness.
Absolutely. Yep.
When you're on psych meds, you don't get that up and down.
Yeah.
You just get a middle gray area.
So like
You might be
everything's
a
at a
little-
numb point.
Yeah, you might be a little happy for this, or you might be a little sad about this, but
Yeah.
you're kind of right there in the middle.
It's just
Yeah.
not a natural happiness.
It's not a natural emotion.
Yeah.
And I think you're saying you missed having natural emotions. Am I right?
Yeah, to a large degree, but that in and of itself is also a double-edged sword for me.
I get it. I get it.
Because then I have to process and deal with a lot of other emotions that are real tough. But I don't know.
Loss is
Those
very
moments,
tough.
those moments when I'm truly happy, and I've had, I've been fortunate to have some that they mean a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When it's just you feeling them raw.
Absolutely. I agree. Okay, Josh. I don't mean to be like the killer of that conversation, but I'm trying
No,
to
that's fine.
I'm trying to break this up a little bit.
Yep.
You know me, shit. Let's say what, since I was 15, 16?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew you from before a said friend of ours broke out of juvie.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about. I just want to ask you, what was one of your fondest and most hilarious reminiscing memories of you and I? Do you have one of those to share?
Gosh, there's quite a few, but
Now, I want everybody to know that Josh and I, we went through some times where we were around each other all day, every day, amongst a bunch of other people that we had like a little crew back then. But anyways, Josh and I, we were friends. We did a lot of dumb shit. I remember doing acid with this kid. I mean, there's probably not a lot of things that I can say is outside of the friendship zone when you're a bunch of hoodlum kids running around together. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of secrets in this realm right here.
We ripped and ran together, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about, if you could just pinpoint one, or just to like put this on a friendly level and send everybody away smiling.
Honestly, the night I had you install that radio in my car, and then we sat out there and talked for a long time while you were installing the radio.
Yeah, we did have a moment. I have to try to clarify. Were we high, man?
I would guess.
I mean, yeah, like we were always high on something. But like, were we high on like acid or anything back then?
I would imagine that night. I think we had tripped the night before, but I think we were just smoking weed that day.
Okay, because when you're on acid with your boys and you get all that emotional shit going, you know how that goes,
Yeah. No, it wasn't one of those.
Okay, no, I didn't. But I remember us having that time where we did. We were young, man, mind you, and we were doing a lot of just dumbass shit. But then Josh and I had never really had a moment. I remember that to where like him and I could get like on him and I level. It was just always crazy all the time.
No, that's why I chose that moment in the car, because it was just you and me. Everyone else was up in my apartment.
Yep.
And it was you and me out there for hours just talking and trying to get the radio straight. And,
we connected on a big friendship level, which I can agree, dude. I mean, overall, go ahead.
It got to the point where me and you were close enough to eventually, as all friendships do, there comes a time when people become at odds. When you and me became at odds, it affected us emotionally to where we didn't even want to either fight each other or anything of that nature because we had cared for one another.
That's truth, man. That's very true. I believe that I always wondered about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, things were hurtful. Both sides were hurt. And that's awesome you said that, because that was my next part of this segment was, like, forgiveness. You know what I mean? What do you
Well,
think?
we didn't know it at that time, but
No, we didn't. We didn't know how. We knew
no.
how to be angry, sure.
Hmm.
But that's really like all that when you're taught anger a lot by the people that are supposed to be positive reinforcements in our life. Then when anger does strike, we just dwell in it. You know what I mean? Um,
No, we were both kids, and I remember that night we squared up,
yeah, I
and
remember that too. I
we were about
Go
yeah we
ahead.
were about to bump, dude. And I looked at your eyes. You had damn near tears coming up in your eyes, and I was fucked up over it. And
I remember that.
we ended up yeah. That was a
We
tough night.
we walked away though,
Yep.
and that's what's up. Can I
That
tell you? I'm gonna
that
tell you.
speaks
Go ahead.
that speaks volumes because you or I did not walk away back then.
No, sir. No, sir. We
Hmm.
had a reputation for let's say putting them down.
Yeah.
We're
Quickly.
the knockout kings. Um, but everyone out there watching, I do not influence that in youth in today. I will tell you why. Because of the reputation that and I can say that probably Josh can agree, the reputation that I spent so many years putting people in pain and myself through a lot of worry and pain as well, um, really wasn't worth trying to build anyways because nobody even remembers me anymore. Like I go into my hometown and I'd be like, yeah, such. They're like, no. And I'd be like, dude, isn't that bullshit? Because I literally like put myself on the line for people, and I've hurt a lot of people because that was my thing, was fighting all the time.
See, and I don't know why, but mine still haunts me to this day.
It
Like
does.
I still get people talking, and I still hear negative shit, and it's just like these people haven't even known me in 20-something years, and they're still talking about shit that we used to do. So I get what you're saying. A lot of people have forgotten. We weren't remembered in a good or memorable way, but when it comes to certain subjects, our names are still brought up,
Can I
and that's
say this
almost pain.
though, Josh?
Yeah.
There
Hmm.
probably wasn't another group of kids on this earth that had all of us had a friendship,
Yeah.
but we loved each other like we was fucking
We were
brothers for
family, bro.
real.
Yeah. We were family.
And that was it. We walked as a God blessed family. And I'm going to tell you something. I love if you guys, all of you. I could bring up a Willa Wagner, Brooke Wagner. God bless you, Danny. We love you up there. Thanks for looking down
Oh
on us,
God. And
Benny,
Johnny.
Johnny. God bless you, Johnny. I hope you're looking down as well.
Brandon.
Brandon, you know what, Brandon? I know you're looking down on us, but I mean, I can name 30 kids. And you
Hmm.
know what? I could probably call, this is going to throw you off. I could probably call Adam Short right now on the phone.
He's not a fan of mine.
No, but I'm saying I could call Adam Short right now, and yeah, there'd be an awkward conversation, but at the end of the day, we'd be laughing like we always did. You know what I mean? And no, I've never really been a big fan of his either, but I'm sure he wasn't
Right.
so much mine. I wasn't probably so much to him either. But I'll tell
He
you,
was at odds with pretty much everybody. I mean, he liked, I think, 2 or 3 people, but for some reason he was always around. But he had a problem with most of us.
oh, all the time, dude. I was just giving that as a good example of how far that was willing to go. We have, like for instance, I'm not a big fan of some people that was in the group, but at the same time, back then, would I have thrown down for any one of them? Yes, I would,
Absolutely.
because that was my group,
Yep.
regardless.
That's just how we did it. You came up against one of us. You came up against all of us.
Oh my God, it was bad a lot that way, a lot. Like
Yeah.
it was.
You remember Flint Ridge, right?
Bro, I fought Jeff Largent for 45 fucking minutes at the school up there to the point where people got bored and left. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Yes, I remember Flint Ridge very well.
I mean, And that was just a couple of groups of kids that came through trying to do something. No.
Oh man, we shut that down so fast. And then we embraced some of them too, though. You know what I mean? I was gonna get off into my personal best memory with you. Was the night that we were all sitting around the table, I think at your apartment again, and we had everybody in the house was tripping hard. And we were playing cards. You were my partner. I think we were playing spades. There we had a guy like laying on the floor, and he had done so many hits that it didn't look like he was emotionally okay anymore. So everybody just kind of let him do him. And I remember Danny and Mandy were sitting on the fucking couch. And I'm trying to play spades, and I look, and Danny would look at me and then whisper in Mandy's ear. And remember me saying, bro, shut up. Why are you talking about me? You know, when you're tripping, everything's a sensitive situation. And I said, don't do that shit. And he did it again. And I told him I was going to stuff him into a cupboard if he did it again. And I remember you getting up from the table when I stood up on my own brother and shoved him inside of a cupboard. Like, you remember where the plates went? Like, you live there now. I can't do you no more today. And you know, then we were him and I locked ourselves in the bathroom. And you were supposed to go to Tun's house. And so him and I are locked in the bathroom. We can't get out because we broke the door handle. He's trying to fight me. And then we end up cooling out. And we have that 4-hour tripping on acid conversation that made us all like really super close. Anyways, all of a sudden we hear a knock on the door, right? And we're like, dude, open the door, because we couldn't open it from the inside. And it was Manny Fraunfelter on the outside saying, guys, can you let me in? Like, you've had me out here tripping all by myself for like 4 hours. And we didn't even know she was there, dude. Like, oh, fuck, you know? Yeah, so that was that. And then you had gotten back, and we were getting ready to go do something. And I remember me and you walked through. This was the end of the story. Walked around the corner, and Mandy was in the mirror doing her makeup. And I said, come on, Mandy, we're running late. And remember she tried to jump into the mirror? She bust her face on, and I'll never laugh so fucking hard in my life, dude. That was funny as fuck. I bet hey, Mandy, if you're out there and you do end up listening, you know that shit happened. You know it. Admit it. Embrace it. But anyways, Josh, we're going to cut this short. And you know what, man? I love you just the same as I did back then. And
I love you too, man.
And you're appreciated in this world, man. And I consider and call you my friend. And thank you for all the cool memories we just had. And Maggie, is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, thanks for showing up.
And everyone, Godspeed. All right. Take care of yourselves. And happy COVID.
No.